Hello, folks. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Hangout with RAKStars session. We are super happy to be here once again with all of you. If this is your first time joining these sessions, happy to have new members of the community joining and sharing with us during the Fridays. Just as summary before I start, this is a community space where you can share with passionate community members from the RAK wireless community and talk about their hacks, their cool projects they are working in, and also many other experiences. My name is Maria Hernandez, Developer Relation Lead at RAK, and here with me, I'll be moderating the session with Jose Marcelino, our solution architect.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, and we have a great session today, right, Maria? It's
Yeah,
excellent.
I'm super excited for today's session. Like, it's going to be pretty interesting, and also like before I start, I would like to highlight one thing, and that is that if you have any question or something that you want to share with us, you can do it directly through the comment section, and we will be super happy to talk with you during the entire session. And also, just to mention like a little surprise that we have for you, and it is that all of those who ask questions during the session will be participating for a Wiz Block kit at the end of this session. So stay tuned, ask interesting question to our amazing guest today, and you can have the opportunity to win a Wiz Block kit to make your next LoRaWAN projects. So without further to other, I am super excited for this session. As Jose just mentioned, it's going to be pretty interesting since we'll be chatting with someone that is super passionate about technology, who have dedicated to empower communities worldwide with the technology through many since many years ago. He's working right now as developer growth lead at Helium, and in this session, he will share more about this technology, its impact in the IoT ecosystem, and how we can start working with it. So, without further ado, welcome, Travis.
Hello, thank you, Maria. Jose,
Hey,
it's nice to
Travis.
be here today.
Yeah,
Yeah,
nice
finally.
to have you. Finally.
Yeah,
Yeah,
indeed.
we are super excited to have you. We know that this session is going to be like pretty interesting. But yeah, before jumping to the technology and the technical part of the session, let's meet a little bit more about you. So can you share a little bit more about yourself, about like your extensive background, and how you can how and when you start thinking with IoT technologies?
Okay, sure. My name is Travis Teague, and I'm, like Maria said, developer growth lead over at Helium Systems. And I work extensively with the developer community over here, trying to get people building solutions on the Helium network. And I guess a little about my past. I've been a tinkerer all my life, but a number of years back, I started getting involved with the Hackster IO community, and they created a program called Hackster Live, which had local ambassadors for different cities around the world, leading local groups where we'd get together and we'd hack on hardware, work on different projects and software solutions. And I've been running that, I guess, in the greater Houston area for about a little over 6 years now. And we've got a great group of people. Even throughout this past year, with COVID, we have moved over into virtual meetups and, been able to keep things going there. Hackster's been a great partner on this. And even once they kind of shuttered that program, we were able to continue locally, with the program that they had built up. I'm also very involved with the Alexa and Google Home voice development communities. I run the developer Slacks for those two groups, and it's something that it's a very active community. A lot of people are heavily involved. It's great to be a part of developer communities where everyone is just passionate about what they're building, about building new systems that, especially with IoT, that can help the world out, help make this a better place.
Yeah.
We ran, I guess, a contest a while back over at Hackster IO called the IoT for Good contest with Helium Systems, and had some incredible submissions there. And it's something that it just makes me smile knowing that people are using this technology that we're building to solve problems, agricultural problems, problems in third world countries where we may not necessarily be as exposed to them over here in the States. And, using these solutions as we're growing outside of the US, as Helium is expanding to, countries around the world, I think that this long range, very low power solution is going to be applied to all sorts of new problems that we may not even realize at this point.
Amazing. Like as you say, like as the name says, the people are building IoT for good, and it's not like just IoT, like where you meet like community people. Like when you have a community, other people are building the things that are passionate about to build like cool things and things that can help them to improve many things in their life, and also like the life of others. So it's awesome. So like basically in summary, you consider that working with community have impact your career, your professional career.
Oh, absolutely. And I've moved to a position where I'm not necessarily writing, as much code as I used to, but I love helping out, a variety of different projects and, community members who, they may just now, be getting into LoRaWAN and, some of these technologies or IoT as a whole. But, they have an idea about a project or a solution, a solution to a problem that they're having. And being able to help, different folks realize that and, see it actually implemented, and they can hold it in their hands and, get it out into the field and deploy it. It's a good feeling. I really do enjoy working with the communities. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. And now if let's get a little bit deep on the Helium technology itself. So can you share us an overview about the Helium network and its beginnings?
Sure. Well, Helium, if you're not familiar with what it is, I don't know where you've been lately, because we've been, I believe, making a big splash, especially in the States, with LoRaWAN IoT technology. But it's the world's first peer-to-peer wireless network that provides a secure mechanism for IoT devices or Internet of Things to pull their data from the field onto a dashboard or some way that they can make use of this data. And it's completely decentralized and built on top of a blockchain. And all core technology is open source. It relies on a type of work called proof of coverage and a new consensus algorithm, which is based on Honey Badger BFT. We were founded back in 2013 by Sean Fanning, Amir Helium, and Sean Carey, and they got together and just saw a problem with the way that wireless devices and IoT devices in particular were operating. Cellular is typically not an appropriate technology for these wireless devices. It's very power hungry, it's expensive, and the way that devices are onboarded, one by one, it's kind of unwieldy when you're out in the field, and it's not something I can make a device, put it out in the field, and forget about it without having to worry about charging it for years, literally years at a time. And so as they started developing this, they came up with something which is just golden. And Amir is a brilliant man. And if you've had an opportunity to speak with him, you'll understand what I'm saying here. They came up with a system that incentivizes providing network coverage. And so in order to provide this coverage, you have a device, a miner, which allows people to use your internet backhaul, or a very small portion of this. IoT data, we're talking about 50 kilobits per second. I mean, this isn't audio, this isn't video, this is small sensor data. But individuals can earn or mine HNT, these crypto tokens, by providing valid network coverage in their area. And because of this, it took off in a way that a lot of other systems, a lot of other LoRaWAN networks have not been able to find a foothold, especially in the United States. In Europe, you'll see that the Things Network has a lot of individuals who are at a community level very involved in that. But having this incentive, we've been able to pull a number of different communities together. We have an investment community. We have the crypto community and the miners coming together with the IoT professionals and community individuals. And so we've got a great mix of people who are very active in what's going on here, and they have a reason to be, because the incentive, the earning of this these crypto tokens, which are then, they can be burned down into what we call data credits, allowing you to move these packets of information across the Helium network. And it is very, very inexpensive to do this. So we've got a huge community built up. In just over a year, we have rolled out over 18,000 of these hotspots. And I think it's the fastest growing wireless network on Earth. I mean, I can't think of another network that has been stood up in such a short span of time. I mean, AT&T, Verizon. I mean, you just don't see that.
Yeah, it's different.
It's much different, and it's something that if you need coverage in an area, you drop a hotspot in, and you can provide coverage for literally miles. It's radio, so it's pretty much line of sight and elevation are your two best friends. Mm-hmm. We've got a whole channel on our Discord that is very active on third-party antennas and how to mount, how to install outdoor enclosures to maximize not just your coverage, but also your earning capability.
Yeah.
Based on the coverage that you're providing. So I don't know, it's taking off. We have a crew of some of the best people I've ever worked with over here at Helium. Everyone is very dedicated to what's going on. Our community, I swear, I think a lot of people in the community they gave up sleep about a year ago.
Yeah, the community is excellent. It's really excellent.
They're super active. So we can say that Helium have changed the rules of the game for the IoT ecosystem.
Yeah.
I think so. I absolutely think so. And just every day, we've got this one channel on our Discord where we see new hotspots that are coming online. And I mean, you can just watch it scroll. I mean, we're, as we brought in several other third-party manufacturers, in addition to RAK. I mean, we've been working with you guys at RAK for years now on getting these hotspots and then the miners, manufacturers built up and deployed. And I mean, you guys know the numbers. I mean, they seem to be flying out the door. I mean, I don't think the problem is lack of interest there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's growing like crazy. So what do you think about this? So it's like meshing the cryptocurrency and the IoT communities. And do you see people from crypto going into IoT and vice versa as well, getting
Absolutely. And you see these communities coming together. A lot of folks got into this more as an investment than, and the IoT was more of just a little perk. But you have people coming from the other direction, which is the direction I came from, is from the IoT world, and saying, okay, well, hey, we're buying all this equipment, ourselves anyway, out of pocket. Why not? Why would you not want to, get in on the other side of things?
Get something out. Yeah. Absolutely.
And now that being said, I think that has initially caused some new issues where you have people coming in and they don't really necessarily care about providing, proper IoT coverage, but because that is bound so intricately to how you're earning these HNT, you kind of have to. And so by optimizing your mining setup, you are in fact optimizing the coverage that you're providing to the local IoT community. So it's a very symbiotic relationship between the two communities. And so we're seeing people come together. A lot of people saying, "Hey, I was up on my roof today. If you would have told me a year ago, I'd be up here, with a 10-foot pole. I thought you were crazy, So
yeah, absolutely. And that links really well because I've been talking to some of the communities, and I mean, one was very close to my heart. They're like my hometown in Lisbon, Portugal. So they were sharing some of their accomplishments what they've and how they got there. And I've got some slides here just to show. Maybe I'll just share it.
Ah, perfect.
Quickly.
Excellent.
Let's get something. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
So yeah. So this is. If you can see it, this is Lisbon, near the Atlantic Ocean. If you don't know, in Portugal, it's a relatively small city, very hilly. So there's a lot of elevations across the city. So any deployment is constrained by that or helped by that. So the good thing they did is like this were like 6 guys. They just met online on Discord, on the Helium Discord. They had no clue about IoT. They just found this really interesting. They started getting together. They collected some names and locations across the city. They kind of mapped everything. So they placed everything on a map, looked at elevations, GIS data. They started collecting that. I think they learned a lot actually from like the antennas channel on the Helium Discord. Lots of sharing over there. And then they picked the best locations. They ordered 40 hotspots. They started kind of putting them, like you were saying, like going up on roofs, like building these outdoor enclosures. So these are like rack hotspot miners inside the outdoor enclosures, outdoor antennas, and they kind of learned everything as they went. They've with these good locations, just some more photos, different places. And I mean, the amazing thing is they built this network in 14 days, 1-4, of like 6 guys together with some friends, and they now this is the coverage across cities. So this is like the proof of coverage, and the gateways talking to each other. And then this is really what I find amazing. I mean, they're covering the whole city now, basically in 14 days. Just by stuff they learned from Discord. It's really amazing. So I'd like to have them in a future session, but I just wanted to share this because this is like really amazing. You can create this coverage in so quickly. I mean, and from this, yeah, you see this across the world, right? It's like all these communities, like other cities, New York, San Francisco, is fully covered now. Like, it's really amazing.
Super amazing.
And like you say, yeah, there are 18,000 gateways now and growing. So RAK has about 10,000 kind of in between planes at the moment. So it will be double very soon. Let me go back. So yeah, this is something. Yeah, it's something new, right? It's not this growth at this rate has not been seen yet, and the encouragement that it gives people to build actually networks that perform well as well. It's not just like people buying hotspot. It's all this planning around it as well.
All the things behind
it's really great.
So like you have like sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, please, Maria. I just wanted to make a quick comment that last slide that you showed with the hexes on it. That's just validated on the ground coverage with one of the new API mapping APIs that we have, and so you probably have full coverage that just hasn't been plotted on the ground at that point. So
yeah, exactly. This is someone walking around the city with a mapper, just seeing the coverage, and it's there. It's just showing that it's there. And I think the next step is they're now talking about so we have got this money coming in, basically like tokens coming in. And let's invest it in like sensors and the next step. So it's kind of building the next evolution of the network now. And it's
very cool.
So it's great.
Things like air quality or weather stations or things that the community can have access to this data set.
Exactly. Yeah, and like rubbish collection and stuff like that. That is. So they're now talking with the city council. They're saying, yeah, we've got all this coverage. Let's do something with it.
Nice.
Yeah,
so
it's great.
You have like a huge growth during the last year, but what about the growth for this year? Like what is the estimate for the total number of hotspots by the end of the 2021?
Well, actually, you asked that, and just a couple of days ago, we released our roadmap for this coming year, and which we have that up online. I'd encourage anyone to take a look at it. And I think it's up at just helium.com /roadmap. And this kind of takes you over, what we have planned and what's on the books throughout this next year, broken down into segments, into the goals. We have a lot of huge projects, a lot of changes that are coming in the network. But if we want to kind of sum some things up, 2 years ago was the development of the blockchain and getting this written, getting this in place. 2020 was the year of growing the network out, going from a handful of hotspots to over 18,000 that are verified, and those are just verified, installed, and online. A lot of other, like Jose said, are on planes or boats or in some process of shipping, but have been sold and are on their way to their new homes. So, but this year, what we're really pushing, what we're really promoting is developer growth and usage of the network, where we have companies, individuals, organizations using the technology and, for what it's built for, for actually transmitting over, in hard to reach places, long range places, sensor data, and getting that data consumed and processed by individuals who need it. We're getting the data from the field to the dashboard. And my job is to work with the developer community and, help ease the transition. If you're on a different network, if you have like cellular sensors going, to, help with the process of moving over to the Helium network and get you up and going. If you look at the cost in data credits that it costs to run one sensor for a year, it's going to be the lowest you're going to find on any network. So I think everyone should be quite happy about that.
Yeah, and talking about the coverage, like which are the countries like for the roadmap for this year? Can you share us a little bit more about that? Either if they can find some information on the roadmap side.
Yes, and in fact, just a couple of days ago, we officially rolled out in Australia, which I'm very excited about because Australia has long been a fan and a heavy user of LoRaWAN technologies, especially in the agricultural and ranching, verticals. And I know, they've really been itching for Helium over there. And so we're working with a number of partners over there. And Maria, I know you've spoken with one of them, Open, which I don't know if I'm jumping out here, but Australia being one country, I'll finish answering your question. But we're moving out into Asia, and we have a lot of interest in China and other markets where we're going to be setting up shop and hopefully doing the same type of growth that we've had and we've seen in the U.S. this past year.
Yeah.
Super. And how about South America?
South America. Now, if you look on our coverage map, and Maria, you will see some hotspots in countries that have not been officially, Helium hasn't officially rolled into. Now, in order for hardware, I guess, to ship to a country, and but because Helium no longer produces hardware, a lot of that is kind of outside of Helium's hands.
Okay.
To get the certifications or clearances needed in order to sell a radio device into a country. Once that's done and the hardware is available there, there's not much to be done on Helium's side to implement it for that country. And so, RAK. Jose, kind of the process there.
Yeah, it's got to go through certification. Yeah, it takes a while, and it costs some money, so that needs to be done. Yeah. But then once that's there, the software stack is there already, so it's just connecting it to it.
Yeah, like we need to have like the people that are interested in the technology in order to move forward on it.
Right, and so it is very important being part of the community. If you want to see your country supported, make your voice heard, because like Jose said, it costs money to get certification to go through in these countries, and so these hardware manufacturers have to prioritize. What makes the most sense. Where is there the most interest for us to go through the certification process first? So
yeah, definitely. So like how instrumental has your partnership with RAK Wireless been? Why did you choose us like at the beginning, and what are the main benefits that you have reaped from this partnership? Not looking back at the past year of development.
Okay. Well, I've actually worked with RAK in the past on non-LoRaWAN projects. They some of the the voice recognition with, I'm not going to say her name because she's spying on me right now, but yeah, there was a Wiz board that was made a number of years back with that supported that voice technology.
Okay.
And I did what the alpha, the beta, early testing programs with that. And RAK, I mean, it has always just been a pleasure to work with. Everyone I've worked with at RAK. And as far as the LoRaWAN world is concerned, RAK makes concentrators for tons and tons of. I mean, I think most everything on the Things network, is built around some form of RAK concentrator or another. And what's beautiful about this is that same hardware can be used as a packet forwarder on the Helium network, and so really you don't have to necessarily go out and buy. Now, a caveat there: it no longer allows you to mine HNT if you're just doing packet forwarding, but that's effectively what you're doing on other networks as well. And so by moving over to the Helium network, you leverage the coverage of all of the other Helium hotspots, all these other 18,000 plus hotspots that have been deployed already. And so your coverage, especially in the States, or other countries where TTN really hasn't taken off, you immediately just have a huge world of coverage to explore by jumping on the network. So RAK's been great. I mean, I really do like working with RAK. They also iterate designs very quickly. And so you see new ideas coming out, lower power consumption concentrators and devices, faster than I can keep up. And so, and with technologies like this, when you're looking at, implementing a gateway on solar power or, out in the field, you really want to get that. And of course, especially on your sensor devices, you want to get that power consumption as low as possible. And RAK's been very good about that.
Yeah, I think RAK does the same kind of like Helium. So I think Helium goes very quickly in one direction when it sees like an obstacle and they like turn 90 degrees in another direction. probably causes chaos, all sorts of chaos in the team. But I think RAK kind of does similar things, but in the device and the node side. So if we go in one direction, but if we see that actually maybe there's another thing there, we'll just move very quickly. That's how all the devices come up.
Yeah, right.
And I am intrigued about the applications that are right now under the Helium network. What is like the most exciting application, like use case application, you have been seeing so far in the network?
There have been some really cool ideas that have come online, both commercial and by community members, and a lot of startups are using the Helium network and getting involved here. I mentioned earlier the IoT for Good contest we ran over at RAKStars. We had, I want to say, about 50, 60 project entries there, and just running the gamut for solutions. I mean, all sorts of verticals, and just we had folks flying around in their private airplanes, doing mapping with
mapping.
Yeah, I mean, some cool stuff. And actually, we just rolled out our new documentation on the website. If you go to docs.helium.com, under Use the Network, you'll find a community project section. And it has just tons of projects broken up by agricultural, different, medical. And you can peruse those projects and, go through, see source code, see how these projects were implemented, what kind of hardware they did for their build out, what kind of issues they faced, when they were designing this. And so I heavily recommend anyone to spend a little time over there, seeing what the community is doing. I do have to throw a quick plug in here, though.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, but I do a weekly, very casual call-in. It's called the Helium Hacks Happy Hour every Wednesday. And we usually have, 20, 40 developers that will just pop in and talk about what projects they're developing and what they're working on. And so it's a great introduction to the Helium community and kind of to see what's out there, what other people are working on. If you have a problem, just come in and say, hey, I'm banging my head against the wall here. So yeah, can anyone take a look at this? So
yeah, it's really good. I recommend it as well. That's how I started with Helium. I didn't know very much, but then I joined. Let's just have a look. It was at midnight in the UK, so very late for Europeans, but it's definitely worth it for developers.
We love having you over
there. I am putting the link in the comment section, so anyone who wants to join, feel free to jump on that link, and you will receive an invitation for the next Wednesday.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, but I guess that takes us to like the node devices now, like the sensors that get developed. And I mean, there's a huge opportunity now with Helium. We've got 18,000 hubs essentially in people's homes, long range hubs, soon to be maybe 100,000 this year, possibly. So I mean, this is just asking for developers, isn't it? It's got to be done. So what are the difficulties now at the moment that you see with developing sensors? I guess it's not the Helium side because that you've kind of got the stack ready for it, right? So you've got a console
now. Well, okay, and let me back up just a sec there. But no, it's a good question because there's a lot of problems when you're developing sensors to solve a particular problem. I did a big project a couple years back for the Department of Homeland Security with the Port of Houston, and it was with the hazmat teams for explosive gas detection.
Wow.
For the hazmat teams, working around the port, and we were doing all of the sensor by hand. These were prototype units, but we were building out 50 of them. And when you build out 50 by hand, you learn that any optimization of that process can save you a lot of time, not just in assembly, but in debugging and getting the kinks worked out. And that's something that with the new product that you guys came up with the Wiz Block environment and this ecosystem, it takes a lot of the guesswork out of doing prototyping an idea, of getting that idea that you have into a working prototype that you can then iterate, from that. So, but the most important thing is getting these sensors and your idea or the solution out in the field to have people using it, to get that feedback coming in and be able to operate on that feedback during the development and prototyping process. So,
yeah, exactly. And I was like listening to like Amir did a recent podcast actually, and he mentioned this problem with hardware. So it's still the processes are still very back in the 80s. It's still very sequential. It assumes a lot of things. So that really, that's kind of what we're trying to change with Wiz Block. It's trying to make modules so that people can just like test modules with software already available. You can just connect and then basically you have a full solution very quickly. And it's tested and it's ready to go into production as well, because you can then just ask RAK to make a lot of them for you, basically. And the whole stack is open source. So we get inspired by the software people, basically, because we see the open source movement. We're putting it on the hardware side. We're creating all these modules, so making it all very module, just to make the development process a lot faster. And of course, RAK can help with like the stuff that gets to people, like certification. It's always a problem so we can definitely help, and we can test your hardware. We can program at the factory, so we can. I think we are trying to minimize all those pain points that get really in the way of sensors.
Yeah, like basically in summary, like of what about you both share. We can say that Helium have changed like the game by creating a decentralized wireless network for IoT devices, and Wiz Block changed the game for large-scale IoT developments, basically. No?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I'd just like to ask for a little clarification on something that you said, Jose, about because you're talking about RAK. Going to production, right? With the design that you've done, which the Wiz Block is kind of what prototype to production is what you're really
That's
selling this on, right?
exactly.
Now, one point that I don't know if everyone understands this, but if you're building a radio-driven device that is based around a module that has already gone through certification, then that significantly decreases both the cost and the time that
Yeah.
you have to put in for a finalized product based off that module. So,
Yeah, absolutely. The certification gets much easier because you got all the radio tests, you got all the test results already, so you know how it performs. So it's just basic doing an emissions test just to see if there's nothing else going on. And but on the radio side, it's already done.
Yeah.
Definitely faster and cheaper, a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
Maybe 10 times, 10 times cheaper.
yeah, no, that's great.
A lot. And like you received like a Wiz Block Decoder like a couple of months ago.
I
So
did.
what is the project? Which is the project that you have been developed so far with it?
Oh goodness.
Put you on the spot here.
Well, see, and the kit is amazing. If anyone hasn't worked with one of these Wiz Block kits yet, you will soon. I mean, if you're involved in the IoT industry, you're going to be using these in some form or another. I have a feeling, but I immediately had to order some more Wiz Blocks. So because I was just building something, taking it apart, building something, and but that's what's great because it's a modular system. I can take it apart, and what is really neat, and I'm touching back on what you said again, real quick, about going prototype to production. The way that this clicks together, it's using, I guess, adapters that were developed initially for use inside cell phones to hold like daughter boards onto cell phone main boards, I guess, and then they have retaining screws on them, so you hold those in place. So even if you're using it, I guess, in an industrial type setting, I mean, you still have an industrial rated solution that's not going to joggle itself apart. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the modules are, so we have three types of, so if you don't know Wiz Block, and maybe not many people know it yet. So we've got the baseboard and the core modules, and then sensors and IO modules. We've got different ranges, and they all connect through that baseboard with screws on, so they don't fall off during like vibration or anything. And they are very small, so the whole board I can show, like here, it's got a very small board. This is the baseboard. Actually, this is a different module, but it's the same baseboard. And the sensors are of themselves very tiny, so they're 1 by 1 centimeter, and they all go on the board, and they've been all tested. And
there we go.
There, Maria has a better shot. The focus, come on,
focus, help me.
So that shows.
There we go.
That's our core module that has the very popular Nordic Nrf52840, which has a lot of RAM, and it's got a great SDK from Nordic, maybe one of the best around, which RAK added the LaValora chip, the SX1262, also the latest, able to do all the magic and more. And then you've got all the sensors. There you go.
Tiny sensors.
Yeah, thanks, Maria. So that's one of the sensors, and we're developing sensors. Like that's what we're gonna do this year. We're gonna do a lot of sensors.
Nice.
If you have suggestions, just come on our Discord. That's the whole idea, is that we want to get you started very quickly, so we provide all the help. You come to our Discord. You've got all our documentation ready. We've got our kits, so you can start very, very quickly.
Yeah, and like other thing important to highlight here is that like more than like kind of development board that is available on the RAK wireless store, it is an open source project, so everyone can have like any idea about any additional sensors that is not included in the Wiz Block catalog. And yeah, you can just go to the documentation, refer to the hardware documentation, download the and start building your own models to customize like your application as you desire. So like that is awesome. And also like other things that I would like to highlight is that this kit is like not only useful for like going to production. Like let's say I want to teach communities, and I want to teach on my school university about how to get started with IoT technology. We can say that this development kit is a pretty easy to use kit to get started, because it provides an easy way to start without jumping with a jungle of cables from one side to another side. So just to give you an idea, we have one educational collaboration that we will be working with pretty soon, which is called Open One Education Planet Network. Actually, Travis mentioned it before, and basically this is an education program to with a mission to promote STEM education in order to prepare like the global community of learners of the 21st century to work together and contend the major challenges confronted in our civilization in an effective way. So they are going to start using Wiz Block to teach their students how to not just how to start monitoring data in their fields, because they have like a program focused on agriculture, but they are going to teach them also how to build their own sensors to start sending the data, which is awesome. So if you have a community, or if you're a teacher from a school, university, like this kit will be super cool, cool thing to use it. Jose put something in our background.
Yeah, it's our new announcement.
Yeah. Okay. Announcement.
I think we can make the announcement. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, let's do it.
Perfect. So here we have it.
Exactly. So this is our new developer kit we did for Helium, made specifically for Helium, for according to Helium's requirements, which were so we actually include 2 boards with this kit, because we know people just like they like to change them. They might damage them. Who knows? So we just include 2 of them in the kit. We include all the sensors that we have at the moment, and then the core modules, of course. And it's all kind of optimized for Helium. Of course, it's still LoRaWAN, so it will support any LoRaWAN network, because that's how Helium works. You don't need to do anything special for Helium.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you know LoRaWAN, you can be on Helium very, very quickly, and you can use this kit with all our support as well. And
Absolutely.
Travis,
And another reason, and I'm so thrilled about this, Jose, and thank you very much for working with me in the development of this kit. Another reason that we wanted to have 2 boards is the core that we were talking about earlier supports both the BLE stack as well as the LoRaWAN stack, and so you can leverage that to make some very, very cool functionality on the devices. A member of your team over there at RAK recently, he's been pushing out on his GitHub a release that allows you to configure everything on an end sensor node using an Android cell phone. And so you can enter all of your keys, configure the node itself using this application in the field, and not have to go through a firmware reflashing process, which is just a very, very cool feature.
I love BLE and the LoRaWAN. So I came from the BLE side actually, and then I moved to the LoRaWAN. But I love both worlds, and together it's really a powerful combination. You can do from, like you said, configuration, updates, geolocation using beacons as well. So you can do a lot with, or just having the 2 boards connected, or
like protocol bridging. And so
protocol bridging,
effectively connect any BLE device there up as a LoRaWAN device, just using a small, simple bridge that's built out of one of these Wiz blocks. So,
yep, exactly. It's amazing. Okay.
So if you join, like for those who joined at the beginning of the session, I mentioned that we were going to be giving away one Wiz Block kit, and we're going to give it this kit that Jose just
a new Helium box.
Yeah. The
number
Helium.
1.
literally number 1.
Number 1 giveaway of this kit. So the idea the plan to participate for it, it's super simple. We're going to jump in a Q&A session soon, so just leave your questions. I hope we are not running out of time because we're interested in all the conversation. So leave your question, and all of those who are question are going to be participating for this. So yeah, I don't know if we can jump to like a quick overview about like the Helium platform, and if you have like any whistle connected to it, that we would awesome to see also the application.
Okay, yeah. Why don't we do that? And if I can just, I guess, share my screen,
Yeah,
um, I can kind of walk through the console real quick. Let me see here.
Oh yeah, that would be great.
And I know we are kind of running close on time, so I'll try to run through this quickly. Let me see how this works. Okay, yeah.
here we have it.
Okay. So when you log on to console.helium.com, this is what you're going to see. And we have some getting started guides, some resources, links to our new documentation page, tutorials, videos, and links to our Discord community, which I know we keep talking about on this call. But we have a great community over there. Tons of people willing to help you out with whatever you have going on. So I do want to show you a new feature that we have in beta that has been getting a lot of talk lately. It's called flows.
Wow.
And yeah.
Wow, that's
and
no
what
threat.
Yeah, well, what flows allows you to do, and this is still in beta, but I wanted to share this with everyone. It allows you. We have the concept in Helium of labels, and what a label does, a label is used to tie a device to an integration or multiple integrations to functions or decoders, and bind them all to a tag or a label, right?
Mhm.
And it's a very powerful system, but it can be a little confusing at first. And what flows allows you to do is, just see exactly how these are interrelated. And so you're not going to see devices on flows, but I will see my labels. And so I can say, okay, you can see, for example, Data Cake, Cayenne. These are some integrations that we have that allow you to pass data from a sensor over to a dashboarding solution or something along those lines. We also have our interior or our internal cargo, which is a mapping program. It was an internal tool that we went ahead and open sourced, and anyone can use that. And beyond that, you're welcome, just to get the code and make it your own. But it's a Mapbox implementation of a GPS mapper. So this will show me my integrations over here on the right. We have a full Amazon AWS IoT Core integration. So you can pretty much in 3 clicks have all of your data going into a cloud instance running on the free tier of Amazon AWS, and it's from there you can run any of your AWS services and just go nuts, with all of their toy box over there. But our decoders, if you're familiar with LoRaWAN and other, TTN and other LoRaWAN networks, you have the idea of decoders that allow you, because we're using the LoRaWAN protocol, you want to compress your data packets as much as you can. You want to get the data as dense, so you're not burning a lot of on-air time with your radio, which you want to limit your on-air time. And you also want to limit it because of power consumption, because radios burn through power. And if we're talking about, having devices that last for years in the field, you want to minimize that. And so these are just a JavaScript decoder there's a lot of discussion on those on our Discord as well. But it allows you to, compress and decompress your payloads for on-air consumption. So let's jump over to the devices here. Now let's see. Okay, I've got a Wiz Block device here that let's see. This is our debug console, and so you can see how it's waiting. It's waiting for data. And I think I've got this guy plugged in.
Live demo.
Well, yeah.
Hopefully
Yeah,
it's work.
Yeah, this is always a little concerning, but
So how many hotspots do you have at home?
Oh, you don't want to know. You don't want to know. No, actually, I just have one powered on. I've got a lot in various states of.
I was hoping to see a lot of them there.
Well, yeah. No, because and I'm glad you brought that up. because there's no benefit to me having a ton of hotspots in my location. And what this helps with is you don't have people gaming the system and just putting 100 hotspots in their basement and not actually providing any valid coverage in their area, because that doesn't help the network. And so because that doesn't help the network, they're not rewarded for behavior like that, for piling them up in the basement. And so I've got a lot over here, but I only have one that's online. I will swap them out to keep them up, so when they do leave, they're up to chain or up to block height. But so what you can see here, we can see what hotspots, of course, that's passed through. And on a label now, you can purchase multiple packets. And so if I want to know all the hotspots that actually hear me, I can go to a label, and let me show you real quick. Well, let me get right back to that. Let me finish the debug here. So under the bottom here, we have integrations, and when you click on these little eyeballs, if you have an integration and we're just doing activation right here. We're still waiting for our uplink from the device, which I don't know if I have this device working on that. But we will see your payload, which is not decoded unless it has gone through one of these decoder functions. And this is what I was showing in flows just a moment ago. And so we can go to, there's a Wiz Block Decoder. And this effectively just packs up the information before it sends it over the air, and vice versa. This is what humidity, temperature, and barometric pressure, which I guess you can also get altitude by using that pressure. And it parses things out. And we also have a validator that allows you to put in a payload in hex. And so if you have like a base 64, you convert that over to hex, dump it in here, say what port, click the run button, and you'll see the output of that payload going through the decoder. And then what label it's attached to here. I can then go to my devices, or that, I can go to that label, and from there, the Wiz Block Indoor label, see what devices are tied to that. So nothing's tied. This number just to the right of my labels, that gives me the number of devices that are bound by that label to both those functions and the integrations, or where the data is going. And so I can toggle these on and off, and so I can have a device, but if I don't want to be running data through it, I don't pay for those data credits by turning the device off. The functionality is really blowing up around console with some of the neat features. And so it's the guys on the console team, or the people on the console team, have been doing incredible work here. And every time I look at it, there's new features. So if we go to the label settings, this is what I was referring to earlier. You can change the color, so it kind of helps you in your mind how everything is. These are the packets. So I can say, I want to get duplicate packets, including all packets. So whenever this device beacons out, I will get return packets from every hotspot in the area that heard that broadcast. Be careful doing this. There are some areas that are so dense with hotspots that you do this, and you're going to get literally hundreds of returns back to you. So, and we have a warning there, that states the same.
Okay, I didn't know.
So just do be aware of that. We also have a full notification section now, and webhooks that a lot of people who haven't been digging through the console may not have noticed these new changes. But incredibly powerful, some cool things, functionality that's being rolled out right now. Having to do with downlinks, notification if something doesn't go right, or how you're expecting it. And then ADR, which is adaptive data rate, is some functionality that Helium recently rolled out. And it's still technically in beta right now. And there's been a lot of testing going on, both in the Helium Hacks Happy Hour discussion there and on the Discord. But that's something for stationary devices primarily that is helps keep your power consumption down, your radio time optimized, and it allows you to negotiate a particular data rate spreading factor between device and backend. So yeah, if you didn't know about that, those are some neat features, some neat new features there on the system.
That's the new, and on the protocol decoders. I mean, you've got a lot of examples already, like on your GitHub.
Yeah. Thanks for mentioning that. If you go, we've got a ton of public repos. If you go to github.com,
yes, too many.
Helium. Well, that's a good thing, though, right?
It is, yeah. It's all in the open. It's amazing.
Yeah,
all in the open.
And we've got more coming. So we really want this to be a true decentralized, network, and that means that anyone should be able to run this network, and so that includes pretty much everything on the system. So a lot of work is being put into getting everything out there. Like I mentioned, the cargo project. But there is what you mentioned. There is a decoder or a console decoders repo that has a number of console decoders has a number of different devices. So you don't have to go through. If I have one of these Oysters, which is a GPS tracker, I can jump in, look at this decoder, and effectively just copy this over into my console backend under my functions, and then immediately test a payload and verify that it works. And then I don't have to go through and mess with all of that work that someone else has done before me. So
exactly.
So thanks for mentioning that, Jose.
Great. Okay. So much information, and even for me, I didn't know a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, many updates.
Okay.
And I mean, I could talk about this for all afternoon, but I know everyone is I think we're coming up on the end of the hour here. So
people can see the data here, but they can also then integrate it to the functions module in order to connect it with other platforms, such as he just mentioned Cayenne, Data Cake, AWS, or anyone customized, because you also have like an HTTP or Mqtt integrations.
Yes.
So you can also run on that.
And we have Adafruit IO integration now, and keep your eyes peeled. We have several more integrations that will be released very, very soon. I know a lot of the community members don't like it when I use that word soon, but
it's never soon.
In this case, it is quite soon. So there we go. So keep your eyes open. We've got some very cool new features there. So. But if you have a system, like you said, you can use that HTTP or MQTT integration to tie into most existing systems. You just may have to jump through a couple extra hoops before we get these, what we call a pre-built integration, integrated. So.
Yeah, with this pre-built, it's just like a couple of clicks, assign, I don't know, a key or a token for the communication with your other external account, and you're ready to go.
Yeah.
Awesome. Pretty plug and play.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to add something else about the console before jumping to the Q&A session. We have a couple of questions right there.
Yeah, we can go ahead and jump in, and then if anyone has a particular question, I'll try to field it the best I can.
Perfect. Let's jump with the first one. Paula, but it's not Paula, it's Mark. Hello, Mark. My question is, I bought 3 hotspots by installation in my town, minimum 300 meters distances between these 3. It is possibly witness communicate with each other.
Okay. What he's referring to here is kind of what we were talking about to keep people from putting 100 of these in their basement altogether. We enforce about a 300 meter distance that you have to have between hotspots in order for them to not really to communicate, but to be valid witnessing between them, and that allows you to earn or to mine HMT off of those data transactions. And so you need 300 meters between them. Is that
Human.
the question? You're saying that in the town, minimum 300. As long as you have 300, then you should have valid.
Okay,
It should be valid between them. Yes.
perfect. We have other one. This is for Jose. The Lisbon team has connected sensors to the rack pooling network. Which kind?
As the team, okay. Yeah, I mean, RAK is a very developer-focused company, so we don't have a ton of ready-made sensors, but we do have the environmental sensor, the 7240, which is already integrated, and also the GPS mapper. We also have that, but it's really all like we aim to help developers get their own devices, not our devices, and we can even. If you get a device, we can even help you sell it. So through our store as well. So we have some relationship with other developers, and we are doing that with them. And happy to do that with more.
Super. Here we have another one from Mark. Yeah, let me.
Oh yeah, the whole shipping, the gateway shipping. Yes. Let's yeah.
Okay.
Well, that is a good point, though,
yeah,
because you do have authorized resellers with Parley Labs here in the U.S., and so.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, CloudChip as the exclusive for the hotspot miners.
For miners.
Yeah, this is the miners. Yeah.
Okay.
They have the wallet and everything. So for now.
Right.
So, what is the process for going from Wiz Block Dev Kit to production? Is there a minimum lot size?
There isn't with Wiz Block. There isn't like a production level because it's the same hardware. So. I mean, we handle projects from the 1 to like the thousands. I think for you call production like something starting at 1,000 units probably, where then RAK can maybe help you design a custom board, something like that, more easily. But I mean, it starts from 1 really. If that's your production, that's fine, no problem.
Perfect. Here we have another one from Jerry. Can a standard RAK wireless 7244C become a miner on a Helium with a different firmware? It is the same set of hats by the look of it.
This comes down to like that Travis was mentioning. There are people gaming the network, so the network has to kind of protect itself from people not doing the right things. So there are now a NIP 19 process through where the manufacturers need to go. They get they use a security chip that goes on the gateways, which encodes all the keys that they need, and they must have those keys. So like a normal gateway, you can't join the Helium and become a miner. You can join Helium and participate in the network, providing coverage, but you can't mine except for the vendor approved gateways.
Miners, yeah. Okay, we have another one. Will you run into any issue if you use multiple decoders and integrations on one device? For example, using one sensor and sending data to Mappers API, AWS, and Cayenne, each with different decoders?
No, that's a great question, but you can absolutely run a lot of integrations on the same device and the same data stream.
Okay, perfect. Thanks for clarifying that. Here we have, what does the multiple packet function do in the console?
Okay, one of the main uses for multiple packet functionality is if I want to do coverage mapping, and I don't necessarily just want to get one packet coming in from one hotspot, but I want to know all of the hotspots that hear me every time I beacon, and so I get RSSI and signal to noise off of and what how I was actually hitting that. And I have the location of these hotspots, and so it allows me to have a more accurate picture of when I'm doing mapping. That's so far been the main interest in the multiple packets.
We we have another one. I'm not sure if this is for the developer kit. I think
Probably.
so. It is in stock and shipping now in the US.
Yeah,
Soon.
soon. Yeah. So we are making the first units. Should be arriving in the US soon. And then we are talking with Parley Labs to distribute them. So that's one option for the US. And I think we're going to give some data credits as well, right, Travis?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah,
That's in the
absolutely.
plan.
Yep.
Yeah, so you can start right away. You don't need any data credits.
And and any new account that you open on Helium console, I think you start off with 10,000 DCs,
Yeah, which is plenty.
It'll last you for a bit.
Yeah.
Great.
We have two more questions, but are also related to when and how they can get more information about the kit. So I'm going to jump those. You are going to get more information about the kit itself and about its price pretty soon.
It's so soon.
So yeah, I think that is all for the Q&A session. I'm not going to my questions because we are running out of time. So I will jump internally after. So I'm going to share my screen just to make the raffle of the people of those who ask questions, and select the winner of the first Wiz Block Helium Developer Kit giveaway. So team share this one. One moment. So these are the list. Well,
there we go.
Yeah, this is not Paula, it's Mark. Mark, you know, you are the one. Let me make that zoom in. I know I can't see. Well, okay. So I'm going to just select the numbers, select just one winner, filter duplicate names. I don't have. Pick a random name, and the winner is George.
Oh,
Oh,
Awesome.
how did he manage that?
It was a random, so I'm not making nothing. So, okay, George, you are the winner of the first of the.
Excellent.
that's great.
It's awesome.
You know, people are going to hit us up demanding third-party code validation on that site.
Yeah, I think we should use an open source solution next time.
Yeah, definitely. Sorry, guys. We have to work on it.
Well, George, no, seriously. All joking aside, congratulations.
Congratulations.
It's a very cool kit, and I'm excited to see these out there in the field being used, and especially by a program such as yours. So.
Yeah, who are you people? Amazing. So yeah, that is like all for the session. I really enjoy it so much. Travis, thank you so much for taking the time and sharing like all of this with us, and talking a little bit more about the story about Helium, and also like the plan for the upcoming years, and having the opportunity to announce cool things over here. That also was exciting for me. And we look forward to the things that are coming during the next week or soon, as you mentioned. And I don't know if you want to add something else, guys.
No, Maria, Jose, thank you very much for having me today. I've had a blast. It's always a pleasure to speak with the both of you. And just check out our Discord. We'll put some links, I guess, on the video where you can find how to get a hold of the Helium. And my name is Teague on the Discord. So if you need someone to harass me. That's what I'm here for. So,
Perfect.
Cool. Thank you very much, Travis. Join Helium and start developing applications. Go out there.
Well, thanks also for all of those who connect, who ask questions, who participate, and those who stay during the entire session. That's all for today. If someone of you are watching this video later and have any question, feel free to leave it in the comment section, and Jose, Travis, On, and I will be happy to answer the questions then. We hope to see you, all of you, again next week. Enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon, or night. And my best wishes to all of you guys, and happy hacking, folks.
Take care, folks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.